A lot of people want to become copywriters. You may be one of them. You may want to become a great copywriter. If so, this is for you. Here are the secrets, and apparently they really are secrets because I've read every copywriting book I can get my hands on, and I've never seen some of these discussed anywhere. But before I go forward, in many fields, quote, good enough copy is so rare that it's enough to win. So you might be in a market like that or a niche like that where you don't need to be the greatest copywriter in the world. You just need to write any old copy that's just good enough. But what I'm talking about in this recording is being a great big money copywriter. Okay, number one, the number one secret. Copywriting is writing. It's not learn 10 tricks guaranteed to bedazzle people and you're done. It's not neuro-linguistic programming. It's writing. And writing is hard work. Oops, that ugly word, work. Have I scared you off? Good. Because if you're not in love with the work of writing, you will never be a big money copywriter. Okay, so what is the work of writing? Number one, it's reading a lot, obsessively, compulsively, addictively. You should read so much that it actually interferes with other aspects of your life. Sometimes I think my life can be described as making money so I can buy books and have the time to read them and move them in mass quantities from the to-be-read pile to the finished pile and the keep or pass on pile. I process a mountain of books every year. If the books I handle in a given year were to fall on top of me, it would be game over. I'd be buried alive. If you're going to be a great copywriter in this day and age, you need to be an active reader. Reading provides the nutrients you need to be a writer. Can you be an NFL player living on a diet of McDonald's hamburgers and potato chips? Probably not. To be in that game, you need a superb diet with all kinds of supplements to have the strength to be in the game, stay in the game, and come back after you've been injured. It's the same thing with reading and writing. And every serious copywriter I know is a serious reader. If I had second sight and could see what some would-be writers actually look like on the writer as reader continuum, I know I'd see a lot of very skinny writers, maybe some writers who are actually mentally starving. If you're not reading a lot, you are nutritionally deficient mentally. If you don't like to read, and some people don't, get audiobooks. Listen to high-quality podcasts. Hire someone to read to you. Hire someone to read things for you and brief you on them later. But whatever you do, you've got to do this. You've got to have this never-ending, steady input of fresh ideas and insights if you want to be a big money copywriter. You don't have to be a big money copywriter, but if you want to be one, that's how you do it. That's one of the things that you need. In addition to reading a lot, this is the number 2 point, you've got to be observing a lot. You can't go through life like the average person, half asleep. That's not going to work if you want to be a big money copywriter. You need to be on all the time, observing what's going on, asking questions. What's going on here right now? Who is this person? What makes this person tick? How does this thing work? Why do people do things this way and not that way? Etc., etc., etc. Life is the best university there is, and school is always in session if you've got your brain switched on. And it's a muscle. It's something that you can get better and better and better at as time goes on, but you got to start. the average person is 99% asleep. If you want to be a big money copywriter, you cannot be an average person. Number 3, take lots and lots of notes and take good care of those notes. Now, I've got a great memory, praise the Lord. But if I don't write things down and keep my papers semi-organized, I would not have a prayer. Penetrating observations and brilliant, actionable ideas come at strange and often highly inconvenient times. You better have a system for capturing these gems or they will likely be lost forever. How much could that cost you? I've had more than one simple idea that generated at least $1 million in profits for me. Just something that came to me, I wrote it down, I followed up, I followed through, and lo and behold, it worked. Random ideas that I wrote down. I shudder to imagine what might have happened if I hadn't developed a simple system for capturing ideas. That simple system, always have a pen, always have a notebook, and write things down. You've got to do this. And if I seem to be crazy emphatic about this, I encounter so many people who will not do this. And all of those people are B-R-O-K-E. That's broke. Number 4. So let's do a little review. You got to be reading. You got to have a steady flow of brilliant ideas from other people. Great business books, great books on copywriting, great books on psychology, just great books on anything that strikes your fancy. You never know. You never know what idea is going to set a spark off in you. It's nutrition. And, you eat 3 meals a day. You need to eat every day of the year. Same thing with bringing in fresh material to your brain. It's got to be done. Number 2, keep your eyes open. Ask questions. Watch. Observe. 3, take notes. When something interesting comes up, you got an idea, you have a question, you observe something new, a principle sort of comes to your mind, and you say, hey, that's how the world works. Write it down. Write it down. And do something to make that stuff accessible to you later. I'll write on scraps of paper, and then I'll copy things into a notebook. But I don't let anything go. I may not use everything. In fact, you won't. It's a lot like a dandelion, right? You ever seen a dandelion? It's got 1,000 seeds. You blow on it, and the seeds blow all over the place. Only one of them may be turned into a dandelion plant someday. You don't know which one. Best to take care of all the seeds. All right, so number 4, if you want to be a big money copywriter, be comfortable with talking to yourself. Yeah. Normal people don't talk to themselves. Now, I don't know about other writers, but very often when I'm really hitting it with some ad copy, it's because I am talking the letter out loud as if I had a person or an audience right in front of me. And whether you do it out loud or silently, you better have an imagined prospect in front of you. One who is highly skeptical, highly suspicious, and maybe even fearful. One who is easily bored and easily distracted. One who is easily confused and needs everything spelled out as clearly and as simply as possible. That's your filter. That helps ensure that your ad copy is as strong as it can possibly be. Because guess what? That's your audience. Your audience is skeptical, suspicious, fearful. They do get bored and distracted easily. They do get confused easily. And your job is to be so compelling and so clear that you cut through that. So when you're thinking about your audience, when you're imagining your audience, you have to imagine those qualities. If you don't put your ideas together with a specific audience in mind, you will never have a chance to sell with words. Even great novelists do this. They don't write a general novel. They're telling a story in their mind to a particular person. Very important trick. Now, here's the greatest secret of all. And if you get this one right, you might actually be able to skip the other 4. How do you like that? You ready? The great secret is, drum roll please, talk to people. That's right. Talk to people. Real, live, flesh and blood people. Gary Halbert talked about this 40 years ago. He said, and he meant it, the best way for a business owner to write ad copy is to get a tiny voice-activated tape recorder and talk to a real live prospect, actually many real live prospects, about the product, and just record what you say and listen back. Record those riffs. Record your stories. Record your examples. Record the questions you get and the answers you give. The talk from a salesperson who is deeply informed about the details of the product and why it works so well for prospects, that talk is the best raw material for sales copy you will ever find. That plain vanilla, no NLP, no hocus pocus, no bull. The attempt by an honest, knowledgeable salesman to show a prospect the real benefits of the product is the best raw material you'll ever find. Claude Hopkins knew this. Everyone talks about Claude Hopkins and his book, Scientific Advertising. I don't know how many people have read it, but everyone talks about it. But no one ever talks about his other book, My Life in Advertising. In that book, he is as clear as a bell. Canvassing, what he called canvassing, talking to people, is the best way to prepare to sell a product in print. He said in that book, My Life in Advertising, that the very best copywriters he knew spent fully half of their ad preparation time talking directly to prospects. He said that one of the ad writers he personally admired the most would talk to 1,000 people about a product before he attempted to tell the story and sell it in print. Think about that. Now, lest you think this is old hat and only worked at the turn of the century or only worked for Gary Halbert, 2 of the very smartest online marketing advisors I know, Carl Blanks and Ben Jessen of the UK, have more market research and testing tools than you can imagine. They are the go-to guys for Google and for other top companies who want to do testing. They go to Carl and Ben to figure out how to do it right. Carl is literally a Cambridge University trained rocket scientist. PayPal goes to them. Now, they're not technical wimps. They're completely comfortable with everything new and modern. Guess what one of their favorite research tools is? They take the product they plan to market to a flea market. They put it on a card table and they talk with people about it and attempt to sell it. This is a Cambridge University rocket scientist who Google and PayPal go to when they need to test things. And this is one of his favorite methods. Now contrast this with a guy who has a copy of 100 greatest headlines and a theoretical bag of ninja mind control tricks. The guy who talks to real, live, flesh and blood customers and experiences their reactions and listens to and answers their questions is going to be so far ahead of the theoretical copywriter, it's not even funny. But who teaches this? I bet you've read a lot of copywriting books. That's why you listen so far. Very, very few people talk about it. Cole Hopkins did, Gary Halbert did, but I bet you've read a lot of material, maybe even taken some very expensive courses where they don't even get into this essential point. By the way, how do you do this? How do you talk to people if you live in the desert somewhere or on a sailboat in the Pacific or, or in a little village in upstate New York? Anybody know? How do you do it? How do you get people in front of you to talk to? It's simple. You run ads, you put a phone number on the website, and you answer your phone and talk with the people who call. That's it. Yeah, it'd be nice to be in front of them and actually see their reactions, but telephone is pretty good. And it will allow you from the comfort of your own home, because I know everybody wants to do everything from the comfort of their own home. I want to do everything from the comfort of my own home, so I assume you do too. This allows you to work the magic without having to leave your home. So if you are interested in being a copywriter, you might be interested to know that I interviewed one of the best big money copywriters of all time, Gary Bencivenga. And in his 40-year plus career, he never gave a lecture, he never gave a talk, he never spoke at a conference, he never wrote an article, he never taught a course. Why? Because he was serious about winning, and he was competing with some of the most brilliant cutthroat competitors imaginable. So his theory is, since what I'm doing works so well, and it did, and it does, why would I ever share this with anyone? But when he retired, he felt, hey, let's help the next generation. I didn't want to help the next generation when I was in the game, but now that I'm going out of the game and doing other things, I can afford to share this knowledge. He only gave one live interview that was recorded, and he gave it to me. And he gave it for members of the System Club. Now, what's the System Club? System Club are people who are graduates of the System Seminar. What's the System Seminar? Briefly, it was the longest running seminar on internet marketing in the history of the internet. It had a lot of different names, but it started in 1994, and it continues to this day. We haven't done a live event since 2011, but we have a monthly event every month by telephone, comfort of your own home. Gary Bencivenga, one of the top big money copywriters who's ever lived, has been a member of the System Club for over 12 years. And he wanted to give back. And so he said, I'm going to do this interview with you, Ken, but it's for System Club members only. Well, you can get this interview. And you want to get this interview because even though I've given you the secrets to copywriting, there's more to copywriting than I was able to describe in a few minutes. Copywriting is a craft. It's a trade. It's like plumbing. It's like being an electrician. It pays 100 times more than being an electrician or a plumber. It's a lot more pleasant, but it's a trade, and it has tricks of the trade. And I think it's fair to say that few people who've ever lived know more about the tricks of the trade of copywriting, big money copywriting, than Gary Bencivenga. And we've got some of his best ideas, his best thoughts, his best techniques, his best strategies recorded for, well, could be for you. I will give this to you as a gift, yours to keep forever, for trying out the System Club. It is a completely risk-free venture. If you don't like the System Club and you think it's not doing what you hoped it would do for you, just tell me. And the little bit of money you put up to join as a trial member gets refunded. That's fair. And you get to keep the interview with Gary Bencivenga. You also get to keep a day-long seminar that I did with Drayton Bird, one of the best copywriters who ever lived, worked for David Ogilvy, was David Ogilvy's go-to man for direct marketing, was the guy he trusted to go around the world to all of Ogilvy's offices and teach direct marketing to the staffs, and one of the best copywriters ever. His book, Common Sense Direct Marketing, has perennially been the bestseller on the subject of direct marketing for 30 years in Europe. It's the #1 book on the subject. We had a day-long seminar with me and Drayton and another guy, Perry Marshall. You may know Perry. He's famous for being an AdWords expert, System Club member, System Seminar graduate. So the three of us got together and tried to outdo each other with our best stuff. I tried to outdo Drayton. Drayton tried to outdo me. We both tried to outdo Perry. Perry tried to outdo us. And you get the whole thing. Nothing like this has ever been done before. It was completely open, completely free form. Nobody was selling anything. Nobody was doing anything but trying to share their absolute best stuff. You're going to get that for free too. But that's not all. I once took the essence of the System Seminar, and I called it the System Intensive. So instead of hearing 15 people over the course of 2 days, I boiled it all down into 1 day and delivered it personally. And I recorded it. So if you've never been to a system seminar, you can get the core of the system on a recording. You get that too. You get these 3 gifts for free, just for trying, just for test driving the System Seminar, System Seminar Club. So to get these goodies, just go to thesystemclub.com. It couldn't be simpler. And click around and you'll find a way to read about it. And then when you read about it, you'll be given an offer. The offer will explain everything. But I'll tell you right now, it is a trivial amount of money. It is completely guaranteed. And you're going to get gifts just for trying it out that you couldn't even buy for many, many thousands of dollars. So if you're interested in being a big money copywriter or using ad copy for direct response, test the System Club. It's easy, it's risk-free, and it could change your life. It's changed many, many people's lives.